President Trump takes Washington, D.C. So 800 National Guard are going to the D.C. Armory right now, Associated Press is reporting, and they will patrol neighborhoods, suppressing criminals. So if you're a criminal and you want to go out and hijack a car or stick up an old lady to get money for drugs, and there's National Guard standing there, you are less likely to do it. Okay, there's also 120 FBI agents, and they are in the neighborhoods where crimes are most committed. So again, this is a suppression of crime, an institution of more safety for the public. Does everybody understand what's happening here? I hope you do. Well, the progressive left, the Trump haters, they hate this. And then the simple question is, wait, if you're going to make human beings, American citizens, more safe, and you have the legal authority to do it because the federal government runs the District of Columbia, why wouldn't you do it? Okay. So, in addition to the crime and murders, by the way, I'm sorry I said that, murders in D.C. rose between 2012 and 24 about 100%. And they've come down a little bit, but D.C. is a violent city and everybody knows it who lives there. You got to be careful. Everybody knows. Okay. In addition to the crime, there are about 6,000 homeless people, most of them drug addicts. And a lot of them live on public land, federal land. And Trump goes, no. So today, Caroline Leavitt, the press spokesman for the White House, said, hey, the Metropolitan Police are going to get the homeless, and they're going to give them a choice. You can either check yourself in, and I guess there would be accompanied to a shelter receiving mental health services, but if you do not do that, then you will be put in jail. Okay. Why that tactic? Because it's the only tactic that works. You're not going to persuade people to give up inebriation unless they're desperate. So if you talk to any drug rehab counselor, you can't rehab somebody who doesn't want to be rehabbed. And most of these people, not only in D.C., but all over the country, living on the streets, are drug addicts or alcoholics, and they want to get high all day, every day. You put them in jail, which you can do because there's an ordinance on the books of Washington, they can't get their dope or their booze. So they're going to leave. They're not going to hang around for that. That's how you get them out. And that's what the federal government is now doing. So the U.S. Park Police are going into the public areas owned by we, the taxpayers, and they're saying, you're out of here. No debate. That's not going to take long. But the progressive left, of course, they don't want that. They don't want anything like that because they hate Trump and they don't want laws to be enforced. That's a complicated issue, but it's absolutely true. All right, so the first guy I'm going to feature on this is our pal Pete Buttigieg, perhaps the worst transportation secretary in the history of the country. Under Joe Biden, you remember Pete, former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Under Pete, the U.S. airline industry almost collapsed. And Pete did nothing because Pete didn't know what to do. And of course, President Biden didn't do anything. So people were delayed and had canceled and on and on and on and on. Well, here's what Buttigieg says about Trump and the feds going into law enforcement in the District of Columbia. Go.
As we speak, the federal government is taking over the policing of a major American city, Washington, D.C. The president is doing this not in order to make the city safer, that's the job of local law enforcement, but to solve his own political problems. He needs to get his base talking and thinking about something besides his refusal to open up the Epstein files.
Well, how would Buttigieg know that? Does he read minds? Does he talk to Trump about it? No. He wants to divert away from Epstein. Epstein's story is largely dead. Okay? We're going to have a little bit on it tomorrow, put a bow on it, but it's largely dead. But Buttigieg and the progressives, they want to tie Epstein to Trump. So anything Trump does, Putin meeting, anything, oh, it's a diversion. How would you know? How do you back that statement up, Buttigieg? You can't back it up. Just ridiculous. He's a ridiculous man. Okay, the other guy is former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. Listen to this. Go.
Most FBI agents were not police officers before they came into the FBI. Even the most tactically astute, highly trained FBI agents, those who serve on SWAT teams, I know this as a former SWAT team member, they don't know, they don't do community policing.
Are you kidding me? This is so ridiculous. So all they're supposed to do, the FBI agents, is to stop crime by their very presence and to investigate gang members and things like that who may have organized carjacking rings. You tell me the FBI can't do that? Oh, fine. This is so absurd. I mean, I sit here every day and I go, these people, I guess they believe the American public's that stupid to listen to this garbage. All right? Now, there was a protective operation in Los Angeles. We all know that, when some of those riots out there got out of control. And the federal government, Donald Trump, sent in the National Guard and stopped the cold. Stopped the cold. And that's what's going to happen in D.C. I guarantee this. This is 100%. This is easy. This isn't hard. The gang bangers in D.C. can't come out of their holes now, as long as the federal presence is there. Now, you would think that a McCabe and a Buttigieg, not fair people, not looking out for you by any means, would listen to the police union chief in Washington, D.C. Go.
Well, look, we completely agree with the president that crime in the District of Columbia is out of control and something needs to be done with it. We have to go back to how we got here, though. In 2020, the D.C. City Council passed an enormous amount of legislation that handcuffed police officers, exposes them to administrative, civil, and even criminal liability, even when they do their jobs properly.
And that happened in New York, that happened in Chicago, that happened in L.A., in San Francisco, same thing. Okay? We will hector the police. We will make it hard for the police to do their jobs. But the police union chairman, Gregory Pemberton, said, hey, we back Trump. We know the situation in D.C. is out of control crime-wise. Enter, this is unbelievable, and Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House. Here's what she tweeted, quote, Donald Trump delayed deploying the National Guard on January 6th when our Capitol was under violent attack and lives are at stake. Now, he's activating the D.C. Guard to distract from his incompetent mishandling of tariffs, healthcare, education, immigration, just to name a few blunders. Okay, so it's not Epstein, it's tariffs and everything like that. All right, Nancy Pelosi. Now, the Capitol Hill police chief at the time of the riot is named Stephen Sund. Here's how he reacted to Pelosi. Quote, ma'am, it is long past time to be honest with the American people. On January 3rd, I requested National Guard assistance, but your Sergeant-at-Arms denied it. Under federal law, I was prohibited from calling them in without specific approval. That same day, Carol Corbin at the Pentagon offered National Guard support, but I was forced to decline because I lacked the legal authority. So we have known that Pelosi was a saboteur of the National Guard coming to protect the Capitol. And yet she has the gall and the deceit to criticize Trump doing this. Hard to believe. All right, now looking forward, the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, very close ally with Donald Trump, is going to have another round of hearings, and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is first up. He announced that yesterday. It's going to be in September. We don't have a date. So they're going to call in all the D.C. locals and say, why did you oppose something that would make your own citizens, your own residents safer. Why would you do that, madam? Well, crime's going down. So what? So what? If crime goes down to 0, that's what we want. Okay, so that hearing, another House oversight, that's a busy bunch over there, okay? On the homeless situation, they can solve the problem fairly easily by saying, look, either help yourself or you go to jail for a few days and then you can't get your drugs and you're in withdrawal or whatever. And so they're going to all leave. They go to Baltimore. Baltimore, you can do whatever you want with drugs. Easy. So summing up, I expect this to be successful, this DC stuff. The opposition to Donald Trump continues to embarrass itself and be deceitful. Nancy Pelosi, incredibly deceitful. And that's where it stands, and that is the memo.